What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the Halloween franchise. That is right. We are finally getting down to some of the rankings. It is October month. We are ready for Halloween. Posting a bunch, so get ready. Let's get right into it. Coming in at last place for me, we have Halloween 3. Now, yes, I understand Halloween 3 has grown exponentially in how much people enjoy it since it came out. When it first came out, it was a very hated film. Underperformed at the box office, everything like that. It was not liked at all, mainly because there's no Michael Myers in it. The plot of Halloween 3 follows Dr. Chalice and a young teenage girl, or at least right after teenage girl, very young girl is the point I'm trying to make, where they are hunting down this evil mask maker who wants to kill kids on Halloween by using witchcraft. So he uses these masks, and they have some type of Stonehenge involvement in these little plates that are put in the back of the mask, and they melt kids' heads on Halloween night. And he wants to kind of try and take over the world by doing this. He has a bunch of robots that are in this one town, this very small, secluded town. And again, Dr. Chalice and this girl go to eventually try and take him out. The plot of this movie basically revolves around Dr. Chalice wanting to have sex with this girl. That's the only motive he has. That's the only reason he helps her. And the reason she wants to take this guy down is because she suspects he killed her father. It's a pretty dumb plot, in my honest opinion. I have seen the movie very recently. I haven't seen it prior to seeing it very recently. That's why in all my other rankings, I never included Halloween 3. But I am including it with this one. I did recently see it. I think it's just a dumb plot. I don't hate the movie. I do enjoy it. But when it comes to Halloween movies, if Michael Myers ain't going to be in it, then I'm not going to like it. So that's pretty much all I have to say for Halloween 3. Coming in at number 12, we have Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Good title, bad movie. I don't like this movie at all. I hate it. This is the one Halloween movie that I actually hate, like fully hate as a film. The rest of them, I either love or I'm okay with. This movie, I hate. There is almost nothing good about this movie at all. The mask sucks. The performance of Michael sucks. They completely dilute Jamie's character to being a mute for 90% of the film until the very, very end. They kill off one of the main characters who was a great character in Halloween 4, Rachel Carruthers, very early on into the film, which sucks because she was such a good character, and then they killed her off. The atmosphere is the only thing that I actually kind of enjoy about this, and the atmosphere in this movie ain't even one of the top in the franchise. It's just, it does have a little bit of a Halloween feel, which I do enjoy. It has terrible characters such as Tina, Jesus, one of the worst horror characters of all time. The two stupid cops that they play clown sound effects whenever they pop up on screen. And this movie just has a very just reused plot, which is Michael hunting down his niece. And there's nothing unique about this film. The kills are dull and bad. The only kill that sticks out is when he kills Mike with the gardening tool in the face. The Myers house looks completely different. It introduces the Man in Black, which we have no idea who this character is. They arrest Michael Myers at the end of the movie, and there is a terrible scene of Michael Myers sitting in a jail cell on his knees, playing with a chain that are around his wrists. So stupid. We get a complete cliffhanger ending, which you can clearly tell they have no idea where it was going. The beginning of the film is just stupid. You watch Michael roll down a river for a minute until he gets into this pirate type shack and then just passes out for an entire year. Because that makes any sense at all. They completely just kind of drop the ending of Halloween 4 where you see Jamie attack her stepmother. She doesn't kill her. She just attacks her, which you find out. Completely just forgets that ending. And then there's this really stupid thing where they introduce this psychological power that he has, and then it like spreads to Jamie. So when Michael does something, Jamie does it. It's so stupid. This movie sucks on every level. I will never enjoy this film. Coming in at number 11, we have Halloween Resurrection. Now, no movie gets more early 2000s than this. This is early 2000s horror personified. This movie is so dumb and so stupid that I actually don't mind it that much. It's not good. I don't particularly like it, but I can enjoy it a little bit of it when I'm watching it. The plot of Halloween Resurrection is it just Michael kills Laurie in the beginning, and then he pretty much has no more purpose, so he just goes home and chills in his house until some idiot, Busta Rhymes, gets the idea to make a reality TV show by sending a bunch of teenagers into the house to explore it. And Busta Rhymes, set up a bunch of these fake props in there to make make it seem like Michael had this terrible upbringing. And basically, Michael kills them all until he gets to the final girl and Busta Rhymes. They kick the crap out of him, and that's pretty much it. Where do you even begin with this dumb plot? First of all, the characters are terrible. Not a single character stands out besides the one blonde chick, and I can't even remember her name because she's just so forgettable. Busta Rhymes is funny, yet just stupid in this movie. The way they defeat Michael is terrible. They have Busta Rhymes kick the crap out of him. There are no standing out kills in this movie that I can think of. Well, no, there is the decapitation kill where he kills the blonde chick. That is kind of a decent kill. I remember the one stupid kill where Michael bursts out of the mirror and drags the kid inside the mirror with him. It's so stupid, just a dumb kill. I do like the Myers house in this, even though it's not fully accurate. It is much more accurate than the Halloween 5 and 6 house, for that matter. So I do like that. I do kind of enjoy the ending. I specifically like the scenes where they'll do something to Michael, and the final girl will attack Michael and kill him, and then she'll run away from him, and then she won't know where he is, and then she'll have to text her friend, whose name is Deckard, who's on the other side of the world, but watching on the TV so he can communicate with her by texting her and stuff. And he would text her he's still alive or he's coming up the stairs, and it just created for a nice bit of suspense, and it just made it that much more creepier. This movie also has a iconic bad piece of dialogue at the end, where she's attacking Michael with a chainsaw, and she's listing off the names of people that he's killed. And she's like, "This is for them. This is for all of them." It's such a bad piece of dialogue. Horror movies are iconic for this. And Halloween Resurrection definitely hams it up in that category. Michael ultimately gets finished off by being electrocuted, gets taken to the hospital. You know how this works. She opens up the bag. He opens his eyes. Also, there are some weird sound effects at the end of this movie. There's almost like whale noises. Michael gets shocked in the balls, which is so stupid. And there's just this weird whale sound effect. It literally sounds like a whale. And I'm sitting here thinking, what the hell am I watching? It's so dumb and it's stupid. Again, the only parts that I enjoy about this movie are again, those suspenseful type of scenes at the end where she's texting Deckard. And that's it. Coming in at number 10, which is a huge shock for me, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, I know everybody hates this movie. I hated it for so long. Literally, I hated it up until yesterday. And I gave it a rewatch last night. And you know what? It's not that bad. Let me explain. So, yes, there are very weird editing choices. Yes. The stuff with Mrs. Myers on a white horse is so stupid. Michael Myers' design and purpose in this film is dumb. Loomis sucks. Yes, these are all bad things. But this film has a lot that stands out. The amount of dysfunction that Rob Zombie captured with Laurie, how much you can just tell she has so much PTSD, and the mental drainage that just keeps going on throughout this film, where the world just bang, one after another. She finds out Michael's her brother. She's completely falling apart, and Rob Zombie captures so much dysfunction. The acting from Brad Dourif and Laurie's actress, I'm forgetting her name, I don't know why, Scout Taylor Compton, are some of the best acting I've ever seen in any horror movie. It is so well done. You can just feel it. It's tangible. You can feel the gut-wrenching emotions that they're projecting through the screen. When I saw the scene, especially when Laurie finds Annie dead on the ground, and she is just there collapsing, dying, pleading with God not to let her die. She can barely even mutter words. And she is just completely falling apart, blood and tears all over her face. And she's just falling apart, and you can feel it through the screen. It is so gut-wrenching. Another notable scene, which isn't in the cut I'm talking about, because there's two cuts of this film. There's the director's cut, and then there's the, I think there's just the producer's cut, or the theatrical cut. I'm talking about the theatrical cut mostly, but there is a great scene where Brad Dourif, who plays Sheriff Brackett, finds Annie dead on the ground, and he just completely falls apart in such a way that it's almost unnatural and almost seems weird and bad acting, but then you realize it's like he doesn't know how to react. He's just completely falling apart, and you can feel it. The acting in this movie is fantastic. I think also the kills are beautiful. Like, that sounds terrible, but like the kills were done great. I love the brutality of them. I love how vicious Michael is. It's scary. Again, don't like Michael in this movie. I can't stand his design. And there is just some dumb scenes in this movie. Like where Michael kills the stripper and she rips half his mask off. I don't even get me started on the scene in the van where the girl asked the guy to piss on her. Don't even go there. That is one of the worst scenes. Like, things like this is what keeps this at number 10. But I do not hate this movie anymore. I watched it last night and I actually enjoyed it. Especially if you watch it right after Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. It's enjoyable. And again, the acting is great. I think also Malcolm McDowell provides some nice comic relief. I think any scene with him in it's pretty funny, even though it's not the Loomis we want. But I feel like Brad Dourif as Brackett really makes up for that lack of Loomis. I love Brackett in this film. It is the best version of Sheriff Brackett we've ever gotten, even better than the original, which is saying a lot because that is a great Brackett in the first movie. Yeah, I don't hate this movie anymore, though. And I'm actually kind of glad I don't, because I'll take any opportunity I can get to love a Halloween film even more than I already do. I'm hands on. I'm ready for it. Like, I'd love to love it even more. And I have found a very shocking newfound appreciation for this film. Coming in at number 9 is Halloween Ends. Now, this is a very controversial film. Obviously, it's very divisive. You either love it or you hate it. I'm kind of in the middle with it, though. There are parts to this film that I love, and I've been saying this for the past year. This is a good, really good horror film. It is a very bad Michael Myers film. This movie, the plot of this film and the ideas are just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Or, sorry, the right place at the wrong time. Okay? It should not, they should never have made this be the final, like, Halloween Ends should not have been the conclusion. It is a terrible conclusion, especially because all the advertisement hype up this big idea of Michael versus Laurie, the final confrontation, the final battle, who will win in the end. And they completely sideline that entire idea until the final 10 minutes of the film. The real plot of the movie follows Corey Cunningham getting possessed or just getting evil because of Michael Myers, because of a stare into his eyes. Novel idea. I appreciate the idea. I like the idea. It's just in the wrong place. If they maybe had this storyline in the first film, if Halloween Ends was maybe the first Halloween, and then you had 2018 at the end, make a lot better of a trilogy. Because Halloween Ends, it doesn't conclude the trilogy properly at all. You know, these are not ideas you introduce at the end of a trilogy. You don't introduce a new character and focus the entire movie on that new character. Another thing, Michael is weak as hell in this movie. Why is Michael weak in this movie? I get it. He took a beating in Kills. But you even saw at the end of Kills, he got repowered. He got his power back. So why is Michael all weak? He's not even intimidating in this movie. Corey walks in, kicks the shit out of him, and takes his mask. Why are you disrespecting the character like this? I have no idea. Michael's also barely in the fucking film. Now, I know, I get it. He was in this film just as much as he was in the original. Yes, but it was done in a better manner in the original. And that was the purpose of the original. He was supposed to be in the shadows, in the darkness. He'll pop out every once in a while. And this, he's absent for the first 50 minutes. Like, you wouldn't even suspect he's in the film if you didn't know it was a Halloween movie. He's not in it for the first 50 minutes. And then he pops up. You cannot do that. Like, could you imagine if you're watching a Batman movie and Batman doesn't pop up for the first hour? Like, it's not a Batman movie then. This is a Corey Cunningham film. This is not a Michael Myers film. And don't even get me started on the final confrontation. It's so bad and lackluster. The fight is so short. It ends ridiculously by Laurie slitting his throat and then slitting his wrist, and then he grabs her by the throat and she's like, "Kill me, do it." It's so dumb. But for the things I did like about this film, the atmosphere as always is perfect. I love the small town vibe. I also like the tone of this movie. It's dark like 2018 in Kills, but it's a different type of darkness. I don't know how to explain it. Little things like music on the radio or hearing the radio station in the background, it just really gives this atmospheric, this is a small town. I love the performance of Laurie. This is the best outing of Laurie in this new trilogy by far. I love Allison in this movie. I think she also projects a lot of dysfunction, and like a lot of pain and fear and PTSD, and I think it's good. I also like Corey Cunningham in this film. I like the amount of dysfunction he portrays. I like the small cameo from Kyle Richards. She should have been in it way more, but whatever. Obviously, the performance of Michael Myers is great as always. I love James Ducournau as the Shape. He does a fantastic job. And yeah, this isn't a movie I hate. As much as I can talk crap about it, I could sit there and watch this right now and have a great time. It's a good horror movie, just a bad Michael Myers movie. Coming in at number 8, I know this is going to be a controversial one, we have Halloween H2O. There is not much that's wrong with this movie. I'm going to keep it real. There isn't much that's wrong with this movie. This is a very good, but also generic Halloween film. That is kind of my issue with it. There's nothing about this movie that really stands out, but it's also not bad. I think I love the enclosed, claustrophobic feel of this high school. It feels very enclosed, like you're surrounded by gates. Literally, they are in the film, but it also feels that way. I think it's a very back to basics approach. I like the performance of Laurie. I think this is a more grounded in reality type of Laurie, protecting her son John and everything like that. And there's certain scenes I like. Specifically, I love the scene where Michael and Laurie are in the big room, the cafeteria, and he's taking the tables and flipping them, trying to catch Laurie. That's a great scene. Obviously, we have the issues with the masks in this film, which I really don't even feel like going into. There's 4 different masks used. The one they settled on in the end is not great. It's just, I don't know. This movie just feels very basic to me. There's not much to it. But again, it's not like I hate it, though. I enjoy it. I love this movie. It's entertaining, but being basic at the same time. I like the inclusion of John Strode. I think he's a nice standout character in the franchise. I think he stands out as someone actually really good. I like LL Cool J's character. He's definitely not as bad as his other rap counterpart in 2002's Resurrection. I think the character of Will was stupid. I'm glad they killed him off. I like the scene I like the ending. I'm not gonna lie. I like the ending specifically where Laurie goes back by herself with the axe, and then Michael does like the one-arm pull-up John and comes down from the from the ceiling, and she turns around and they're going back and forth with the axe, and she's axing him in the chest, and he's swiping at her. And the scene where she's throwing the knives at him, she knees him in the groin, and his face is just like you can see his eyes. That is the only scene in this film where I actually don't mind seeing Michael Myers' eyes, because it is very creepy. She's like face to face with him, and all you see is his eyes, and he just looks pissed, and it's creepy. I don't mind the performance of Myers in this. I think it's decent. There's better ones. There's also worse ones. And this film this is my main issue with the film. It has this very it feels like a Scream movie. Except instead of Ghostface, it's Michael Myers. It's got the comedy of Scream. It's got the tone and the lighting of Scream. It's shot like a Scream film. It uses literally the same music they used in Scream for the scene that Michael's walking down the hallway chasing John Strode, Laurie Strode, and his girlfriend, which is also a very good scene in this film. But I don't know. Overall, this film just is very generic to me. But I don't hate it. It's very hard to explain how I feel about this movie. This is the one Halloween film I'm very undecided on. Coming in at number 7, we have Halloween Kills. I know this movie gets a lot of hate. There's a lot I hate about it too, but there's also a lot I love. First, I want to talk about the things I love about this film. The things that this film nails, this is by far, I think, the best version of Michael Myers that we've ever gotten. I think Michael Myers is so badass. He looks great. His movements are incredible. Just the way he kills are awesome. The kills in this film are freaking outstanding. Some of the best kills in the franchise. Just every kill is just sick. It's awesome. Michael is just a savage in this film. And this film accomplishes what it was trying to accomplish, was to make a carnage candy Michael fiesta. It's all about making Mike. This is like the Jason Lives of the Halloween franchise. Put Michael in the forefront. Let him just kill everybody. Screw plot. Screw all that. Let him kill everyone. Just let's celebrate Michael Myers. That's what this film is. It's a Michael Myers celebration. And I dig it and for that. I also love the atmosphere. It carries the perfect atmosphere over from the last film. The tone is very different from the last film, though. This movie has more a kind of they're winking at you kind of tone, where it's like they do certain things, and again, it feels like the cast and crew are kind of winking at you. Saying like, you see what we did there? You say it's kind of like got a more like, it's very dark, but it also kind of has this jokey tone to it. And it's weird. It plays with your emotions. It really does. One minute you'll feel like, wow, this is really dark and brutal. Like, this is sad. And the next minute you'll be laughing at Big John and Little John. Speaking of that, I love the characters of Big John and Little John. I think they're a great comic relief. When I first saw the film, I wasn't so sure how I felt about them. Again, this movie is just, the tone of this movie is such a departure from 2018. It's crazy. And it really is a roller coaster of a film. It takes your emotions everywhere. I love this idea of the mob mentality. I don't like the way it was executed in the film. I like the idea. And I love all the characters they bring back. Tommy, Brackett, seeing Lindsay again. I love the return of all these characters. Lonnie, and of course, my favorite part of this film, the flashback 78 scenes. Unbelievable. When I was literally crying in the theater when I saw it. I couldn't believe how well they captured it. Yes, I have nitpick things about it. I don't particularly care for the design of Michael. I love the mask. The mask is great. A few details here and there could be fixed. I don't like the jumpsuit. I think the jumpsuit it's way too blue. I don't like the way the collars, again, these are so nitpick things. It's just not anything terribly wrong with the film. And I think they should have used James Jude Courtney. But the guy they picked, Aaron Armstrong, did a fantastic job. I love the lighting. I love the fuzzy little lens that they used, the music. Everything was captured perfectly for that 78 scene. I loved it. But now we get to the things I disliked about it. The dialogue. Terrible dialogue. There's just certain scenes like when Allison's boyfriend, I can't remember his name, Cameron, when he finds, what's his name? Why am I forgetting everybody's names? Hawkins, laying on the floor, on the ground after he'd been stabbed and run over with the car. The first thing Hawkins says when he wakes up is, he needs to die, and I'm the one that's going to do it. Why? Like, he would never say that after being stabbed. Also, the whole monologue that Laurie has at the end, the evil dies tonight. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. And then after the dialogue wasn't bad enough, you get the stupid characters. Oh my God, they're so dumb. They are so dumb. These are the dumbest characters in any horror movie, I swear to God. They see this patient who's maybe about 5'6", round, bigger guy, and they think it's Michael Myers. He doesn't have a mask on, no jumpsuit. Granted, they wouldn't have known. A lot of them wouldn't have known because they weren't around in 2018. But come on, dude. You can look at him and clearly see that that's not Michael Myers. And the guy's waddling around looking like Penguin from freaking 92 Batman Returns. And they're all chasing him. Literally, people are getting hurt. And nobody's listening. Tommy punches a cop in the face. Like, what are you doing? So, dumb people. And this side plot of the escaped patient that I'm talking about. The one that looks like Penguin. Why is this plot in the film? like, I get it. They're trying to like show that this mob mentality angle isn't working, that there's people are getting hurt and killed. But it's a plot that doesn't need to be in the film. It could have been executed way better. Um, I also don't know how I feel about the ending. I like the idea of just everybody getting killed. That establishes this idea that nobody's safe. But just the way they ended it with Karen just getting killed all of a sudden, it was very abrupt. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. So yeah, I don't hate this movie. I love this movie, but it has a lot of really dumb things going on. Coming in at number 6, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween. I know people hate this movie. I love this movie. I don't care. I'm saying it. I love Rob Zombie's Halloween. I think there's certain parts of this film that they even do better than the original. Believe it or not. I love the performance by Scout Taylor Compton. I think she's a better Laurie than Jamie Lee Curtis. I know I'm going to get it in the comments. I know it. But I do. I think her version of Laurie is more realistic. I feel like she's more relatable. She's not just this perfect goody two-shoes like Laurie was in the original. I feel like, yes, she is a goody two-shoes, but she has more of a teenager-like personality rather than this mature personality that Laurie had in the original. Laurie felt more like an adult in the original when she's supposed to feel like a naive teen, which is what she is in Rob Zombie's Halloween. It feels more realistic, more relatable. I also think Annie's better in this, mainly because she's played by Danielle Harris. Everybody loves Danielle Harris in the Halloween franchise. What I also love is I love the atmosphere. They perfectly nailed the tone of Halloween in this film. It feels so much like Halloween in a small town. It's great. I don't particularly love, but I like the performance of Michael Myers. I think Tyler Mane does a pretty good job with his brutalness. I don't like his walk, but I do think the design of Michael Myers is also very good. I love the way the endings differentiate. I love how Michael charges at her and knocks her off the balcony, and then they're in the pool, and Loomis shoots Michael in the back a few times. Like, I love the departures in that area. The parts I don't like of this film, I cannot stand the first 15, 20 minutes where Michael's at home with his parent, like his terrible stepdad and his stepmom. It's all a bit, I just can't stand the dialogue. The dialogue is so bad. Just all this disgusting, dirty, hillbilly cursing. It's terrible dialogue. Terrible. It's disgusting. But I view this movie as a different version of Michael. I don't view it as like the same thing. This is a different take on Michael Myers, a more realistic take, in certain ways, where this kid is genuinely messed up in the head, and I enjoy it. I find enjoyment in watching this more realistic version of the character. So yeah, I don't like it up until about when he gets inside the sanitarium. When he's in the sanitarium, even as a kid, I enjoy that stuff. And then when he breaks out, it goes all tits up, and it's a great. I enjoy the hell out of this movie. I love it. I don't remember always loving it. I think originally when it first came out, I kind of hated it. Up until about a year ago, I hated it, I think. And then I started to come around to it. I was like, you know what? It's actually not bad. I enjoy this. This is pretty good. And now I have a huge love for this movie. I just rewatched it again recently, and it's great. It was a great time. It just really captures everything that the original was able to capture, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't have any problems with this movie, really, other than the first 10, 15 minutes of it. Besides that, I think this is a really good, fun, and enjoyable film. Coming in at number 5, we have the original 1978 Halloween. I know I am going to get it in the comments for this one. This is not my favorite Halloween. It's a masterpiece of a film. It's a masterpiece. But when I watch this, it's not that I get bored, but every time I watch it, I'm craving more brutality, more kills, more Michael. And that's just because that is the particular way I like my horror movies. I like my killer in the forefront. I like to see a lot of them. I love a lot of kills. I love that carnage candy. And Halloween 1 don't provide it. It's just as simple as that. It provides probably the best atmosphere in the entire franchise. The best design of Michael in the entire franchise. the best arguably the best music in the franchise. It provides so much. This movie is a classic. It's so creepy, but I also feel like it just doesn't relate to my generation as much as it does that generation. I feel like kids were able, and I just had a conversation with my dad about this, who was literally born like 7 years before the film came out. I just had a conversation with him about this, how it's like back then when they would watch it, they would get this feeling like, oh my God, maybe Michael Myers is out. Like they would just, now watching these films since I was even a kid, I was like, man, it'll never happen. But back then, it was like a reality to them. And I think they were able to relate to it much more, especially in the city that I live in, a very small, well, not very small city, but the area, I'll say the general area that I live in is very small. Um, and you can relate to it. And that's where my dad grew up, and he was able to relate to it and just look outside and, get actually genuinely scared. And that's why I think it resonates with that generation so much more than my generation. Um, Also, I love these subtle scenes, like scenes that wouldn't fit in these newer films, like Laurie walking across the street and you hear the music in the background and it's quiet and the leaves are blowing and the very soft, gentle music. It's quiet. It's so beautiful and it's just nailed perfectly. It builds so much suspense. There is no better film to watch around Halloween time, especially on the night of Halloween. And you can bet your ass, come Halloween night, I'm binge watching every Halloween film. I cannot wait for that. But yeah, this film captures it all. It's just, for me and my personal tastes, I crave more of the killer and more of the carnage candy. Coming in at number 4, we have Halloween 2, the original 1981 film. I love this movie to death, and yes, I do like it a bit more than the original. Personally for me, I'm a man of continuity. I love when things continue. I love when films are done like back to back. I love when stuff pays homage to the original. I love when continuity works, right? And I absolutely adore the first 10 minutes of this film where Michael is walking through the back alleys. You can hear him breathing heavily from being shot 6 times. You see Loomis off in the distance yelling at Brackett in the car, and he's entering people's homes. He grabs the knife off the old lady's counter, and then he walks into the other girl's house, and then he kills her. It was done so perfectly. It's got the nice music in the background. Also, I love the theme song for this movie. It's my favorite Michael Myers theme song. I love how they synthesized it and sped it up. It just sounds so awesome and so great, and it's just like, it makes you hype for this film. I love the kills in this movie. I think they were done so much better in this film than the original. I love how much more blood they add. I love the more inclusion of Myers in it. I love the atmosphere is perfect, man. The atmosphere is perfect. I love just even little scenes where Michael's walking in the parking lot, heading towards, like, he's going to the hospital. He bumps into the guy, and it just plays that noise, and it starts the theme song, and he's walking up the street. Nobody's paying any mind to him. It's just scenes like that I love. It just gives you that excitement, and I love it. I love it. I also love the sense of comic relief, like the character Bud. I think he's hilarious in this film. There is a few things that I think are a little bit far-fetched, like when you see the girl who's like laying on the gurney or the hospital bed, and she's been completely drained of all of her blood, and there's blood all over the floor. It was a little bit unrealistic. I also think I can't. It kind of bothers me, the fact that Laurie's bedbound for the entire film, pretty much till the very end. That part kind of annoys me. And then it also introduces the idea of Michael and Laurie being brother and sister, which up until recently I've never had a problem with it. Now I'm starting to see why people get annoyed at it. But it's like, when you take that away, what is Michael's drive? Why is he doing it? I guess you could make a motiveless, which I wouldn't mind, but they try and explain it in a different way in these newer films. Like, oh, Michael just wants to get back to his house. Like, that's ridiculous. But yeah, those are pretty much my only qualms with Halloween 2. I love it taking place in a hospital. Hospitals are scary. I love how this film feels just like the original. You can hear just the music in the background, the down, 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 down. It's like, it's perfect. Yeah, it's done to a T perfectly. And that's why I love these movies, man. It just, the atmosphere and vibe of them are so perfect. Coming in at number 3, we have Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Another just awesome freaking movie. And it's crazy because I never cared for this movie until about a year ago. I never watched it, never cared to watch it. I was like, oh, it's just like Halloween 5. Halloween 4 and 5 are terrible. That's what I always thought. And I gave 4 a chance, and it's really good. There's not many things wrong with this movie, if anything. Well, the design of Michael Myers is terrible. I think we can all agree on that. I wish this film felt more like the original. I really wish it did. I felt like the original felt a bit more claustrophobic than this movie. This movie feels very open. The town doesn't feel that small to me. When I'm watching this, it feels like a huge town, and I think that's exacerbated by the fact that we have this big mob running around, which, by the way, this film takes the mob mentality deal and makes it way better than it did in Kills. But yeah, I love the brutality of Michael in this. I love the kills. The killing of Brady is great. He takes the shotgun to the girl and pegs her into the wall. Fantastic. I'm not a huge fan of Loomis in this. He's kind of gotten to the point now where he's just old. He's kind of crazy. It's not as bad as in Halloween 5, but it's getting there. Jamie, stand out of the franchise. Rachel, stand out of the franchise. Great freaking characters. The atmosphere of this film is, again, great. It really feels like Halloween night. The music, I wish there was more of Carpenter's soundtracks in this, like more songs from the original. That would have really helped make it feel more like the original. I think this film also is missing a lot of subtlety and suspense. I know that's kind of hypocritical, seeing as what I just said. I like seeing Michael in the forefront, but I kind of like a mix of both. I also like to have some subtlety in there, and this film's got none of it, or at least not much of it. I love the ending, how they all gun him down, and he's just being shot to pieces, pretty much, and then he gets shot and falls down the well. I love all that. I think just my main issue with this is just the design of Michael. Michael just looks like an idiot throughout the whole film. He just looks stupid. But besides that, this is such a fun and enjoyable movie. I also love how kind of at the end when the mob comes around, you kind of get this safe feeling. There's like, okay, we finally got somebody that can combat this fucker. And can go against him and possibly win, you know? I love that feeling too. So yeah, I love Halloween 4. I think it's so fun, so enjoyable. It's amazing. Coming in at number 2, I can already feel the hate. We got Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I'm speaking the theatrical cut too. I know people hate this movie. I know people hate it to their core. And I will never understand why. I really won't. I get it. It's a dumb plot. But if you look at Halloween 6, the theatrical cut, that stupid plot barely even exists. It's kind of just Michael Myers walking around killing people. Kind of like what they do in Halloween Kills. Except this movie doesn't have a bunch of dumb people in it. It doesn't have terrible dialogue. This movie's got so much great about it. The design of Michael Myers, perfect. The atmosphere, perfect. The music, perfect. The kills, perfect. There are so many brutal kills in this movie. Michael exploding the guy's head in the basement. Him going ham on the girl's back in the bedroom with his knife in slow-mo. Like, it's so badass and vicious. It's like that brutal Michael you always wanted combined with the original. It's got so much subtlety, like Michael standing outside in front of his house and Danny looks out the window and sees him there. Yes, the man in black is stupid. Yes, this whole cult thorn thing is stupid, but again, they barely play on it. The whole hospital massacre scene at the end is freaking great. Just these weird cuts. It feels very suspicious, unknown, and it makes for a terrifying film. You don't know what these sick bastards are going to do. You don't know what they're going to do. They're just sick. They're demented. And it just makes it so scary. Specifically the one scene where I think it's Kara's mom. She picks up the phone, and you see Michael standing behind her in the distance, and you hear the man in black on the phone. He's like, "We want the child," and it's just so scary. It's like, you know, Michael's gonna just slaughter this girl. She's dead. Like, you just know it's coming. And he takes the axe right to her face, and he just cuts away at the perfect moment. Like, there's so much good about this film, and it sucks because everybody hates it. And it does not deserve the hate. This is such an underrated movie. It's so scary. It's the scariest, in my opinion, the scariest Halloween film. You can just feel, it's almost like this is the most possessed Michael's ever felt. Michael feels truly possessed in this film. Like, he just feels like a demon. He just feels like this is the personification of evil, this version of Michael. I think the atmosphere is just nailed too. Like, just the way he pops up every now and then and he'll just kill. And it's just, I don't know. I grew up on this movie. I love this movie. This movie is badass. I can overlook the stupid, almost non-existing plot in this version of the film. Say what you want about the producer's cut. I personally don't mind that cut. I don't like it. I don't love it like I do this version. But I don't hate it either. But say what you want about that cut. I don't care. Go in on it. The theatrical cut does not deserve the hate at all. But coming in at number 1, which I truly think is pretty much a perfect film, we have Halloween 2018. When I saw this in theaters, I cried probably through 55% of it. I could not stop crying in theaters when I saw this. This just waterworks. There was just so much. I guess a part of it was seeing Michael on the big screen for the first time in my life. I've never been able to do that. I was born in 2006. You know, Rob Zombie's Halloween came out 2007. There was no way I was seeing that back then. Halloween 2 came out a few years later. There's no way I was seeing that at that age. I was 3 when it came out. Ain't no way I was going to say it. This was the first Halloween movie I saw on the big screen, and oh my God, was it a good one to see, because this movie's perfect. It is perfect. It nails atmosphere, Michael himself. The performances are great. There's no crappy dialogue. You know, it is dark tone. It's got so many great scenes. My favorite scene, and probably in the entire Halloween franchise, is the one shot. Michael bumps into the kids, turns, goes down the alleyway, walks into the lady's house, kills her with a hammer, walks out, walks over to the neighbor's house, goes in through her back door, boom, bang, done. Beautifully shot. This is definitely the best directed Michael Myers film. It's kind of a generic story in a way, but it takes a dark turn, and nobody feels safe. No one feels safe in this film. And there's certain lines of dialogue that I just love. I love when Laurie first shows up to hunt Michael down, and she bumps into Frank, and she's like, "Frank, he's here." It's so chilling, and it's like, it's Michael Myers, you know? It's like he's the superhero of it all. This movie is so great. I love everything about this movie. If I could complain about one thing in this entire film, it would probably be the twist that Dr. Sartain is evil. That's probably my only complaint of this film. I don't even mind it. I don't mind it at all. I love Dr. Sartain's kill where Michael stomps on his face with one foot, and his face collapses. It's great. I love the performance of Annie Madden-Jack, plays Allison. I think she does a great job. I love how Laurie's family doesn't kind of trust her, and then they have to come around to trusting her at the end. It's everything about this movie is just so good. The music, the Shape Hunts Allison is the best soundtrack I've ever heard for any movie. I don't even care. The best track I've heard for any movie. That song is so chilling, so good. I wish they used it more in the film. It's just, yeah, I can't complain about this movie. It's so good. I know I'm all over the place with this. Where do you start? Where do you end? It's perfect to me. Yeah, this movie nails everything. So yeah, that is my ranking of the Halloween franchise. I hope you guys did enjoy. I know a lot of you are probably going to disagree with my list. So leave your list in the comment below. I would love to read your lists. I would sit there all day and read them. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Make sure to subscribe, like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.